Okay, sorry about the little delay. All right. Good evening, everybody. If you haven't yet, please sign in on the chat so that I know you attended and you can get entered into the raffle. And then if you'd like to respond to the question, what is something awesome happening in your life, in or out of the classroom, that you'd like to share? All right. If you'd like to write it, great. If you don't, that's okay too. We're moving on. So our super staff member of the month, and remember we're always a month behind, is Miss Molly Jacobs. She's at Holly Ridge and she was working as our substitute NC pre-K teacher. She dove into the NC pre-K program with an all-in attitude, worked tirelessly to exceed NC pre-K teacher expectations when completing paperwork and more, sought guidance and grew as an early childhood educator throughout her time at Holly Ridge Quality, thoughtful and caring to all students, and works to ensure she addresses individual learning, developmental, and emotional needs. So congratulations to Miss Molly. And we are going to say number 2. You ready? Miss Barbie! Yay, Miss Barbie! Runs Holly Ridge Quality on her own each day while addressing countless questions, requests, and day-to-day responsibilities. Organizes our graduation ceremonies, trunk or treats, and summer camp field trips every year. Ensures each family and student feel welcome, heard, and supported. She's grown tremendously as an administrator the past several years. She recently graduated with her associate's degree, so congratulations to her for graduation. It's a huge accomplishment. And we want to say congratulations to Miss Molly and Miss Barbie. Your certificates and your $100 will be with you tomorrow. Tomorrow. Our June newsletter, put together by Miss Amy. Thank you, Miss Amy. I love our little characters keep changing at the top. It's so cool. I love ChatGPT. So we have all of these lovely events and things that have probably already happened because we're on June 17th now. But our camp obviously began this past Monday. We are closed this Friday for Juneteenth. We have Father's Day on the 21st, and then Donuts with Dad is Monday. So if you have yet to message your parents about that time slot when the father figures can come and enjoy donuts with Dad, they're welcome to come join. I always ask the grandpas in my family to come because Dan's busy watching Matthew, and it's too early for him in the morning anyway. So summer reminders, making sure that your kids always come with closed-toed shoes. It's a big deal. Some of them are trying to come in with flip-flops, open-toed sandals. Please make sure that you remind those parents closed-toed shoes. We just want to make sure we don't have crazy injuries. This was the first week of water play. Many classrooms dove right into water play. Some classrooms are still missing materials, so I ordered 2 big splash pads that should be arriving on Monday. I apologize. I thought we had splash pads. I know I bought extra things. I just don't know where they are. So if Mr. John does find them, then we will have them. There should be refillable water balloons, little squirt gun type thing, like those shooters, buckets to fill up the shooters with, and actual sprinklers, like blow up ones. I know Rachel had one of her personal ones she was using last year, but I did purchase a bunch of those things. Just don't know where they are. So if you see them, please let me know, or bring them out so we can all use them. The items for the school age playground, those will be kept in the mop bucket area. The items for the other side, where room 9 is, those items are going to be kept in that cabinet in room 9's playground. It should still be there. It was meant for water toy things. If it's not there or used for other items, I will figure that out and fix it. Remind parents that they should be applying sunscreen in the morning. We apply sunscreen in the afternoon. So they can come in fully slathered up. Otherwise, they're risking getting burned in the morning time. So I don't want them to expect that you guys are putting it on in the morning and the afternoon because that's crazy sauce. Water bottles, I really would only prefer our graduating pre-K and our school age students to be using water bottles that are personal water bottles because it becomes an issue where they're not labeled or they sit there like for weeks on end and the kid is drinking out of yucky water bottles because they're not as responsible as the graduating pre-K students and the school agers. So the younger kids should be using cups. Please ask for refills of your jug if you need them. I'd love everyone to stay hydrated. I understand those cups can get everywhere on the playground, so having a scavenger hunt or a race to find however many cups or trash they can find to put in the trash bin at the end of your playtime, that's a helpful thing so that the trash doesn't fly everywhere. I don't think I did this. Nope, this is from last year. I was like, I didn't do that. But we want to welcome to Sneed's Ferry Quality and Holly Ridge Quality. We have quite a few new staff members. I'm hoping that they were able to join us this evening. Oh, I know I'm going to miss somebody. So Miss Mackenzie is going to be working at Holly Ridge Quality. She's there right now learning and getting to know everybody, and the process is there. We have Miss Jasmine. We have Miss Ava. We have Miss Emma and Miss Zena. And am I missing somebody? Oh, and Miss Barbara, because we didn't introduce Miss Barbara last month to Sneed's Ferry Quality. If I miss somebody, I apologize. I'm just going off what my brain tells me. And we want to welcome you all. And if you are working with our new staff members, please welcome them into your classroom and guide them. Because even if they're seasoned in North Carolina, they are not used to our expectations, our routines. Just guide them. And don't be afraid to give direction so that they feel comfortable. If you're new, don't be afraid to ask questions, because the more questions you ask, then we're able to support you with what you didn't know. But if you don't know, you don't know, right? So if they didn't know a particular procedure or an expectation in the classroom, we can't blame them if we didn't share that expectation with them and guide them. If you find that have concerns or you have questions, please come to us so we can help facilitate and we can guide that new staff member and make them successful, make them comfortable and confident in their day-to-day. All right. So new hires. I did notice some new cars in the front lot, so I want to make sure that you understand that front row closest to the building is meant for parent pickup drop-off times. That's not for staff parking. So if you come with your own child, obviously you're going to park at parent drop-off or pickup spot, and you're going to bring them to their room, and then you're going to go back in your car and drive to work and park near the Cancun or our second building lot. That one has more space. Usually that row closest to the road gets filled very quickly because everybody wants to park there, right? So if you're there before 7:30, you probably get one of those spots. But if you're not there and those spots are all full, that whole row's gone, please do not park next to the building. Go around and park next to the second building, next to Cancun. And then you just walk across that little bridge and come inside. You can go through room 6 up until 9 o'clock, but then after 9 o'clock, please don't go through that classroom because they'll be in the middle of their instruction. Clocking in. I know some people, they just love to be early, and I greatly appreciate that, but please refrain from clocking in no more than 5 minutes before your shift starts, because it starts to add up and it looks like overtime that isn't technically overtime. You know it's overtime when you've been asked to stay late, asked to come early, or if it is approved because there's something that had to get done. So usually admin will initiate that overtime, and that's when it's valid, and we definitely add it to your paycheck. So I want you to understand the difference. Just because you may do 5 different things before you go clock out, that's not technically overtime, because maybe those 5 things were not necessary at that point in time. So I just want everyone to understand, if it's not something that admin expected, you may not get that as overtime. So be careful with what the expectation is. Always ask questions, always be honest. If you have any questions, message us, come see us. There's a little sign up right outside the office door if you want office hours. I felt like we weren't giving people our undivided attention because you might drop in, but there's 3 of us in the office trying to do work, and we're not really focusing on what you want to share with us, and it might be something important. So writing on that chart or just messaging us, hey, I'd like to speak with you, and then we can set time aside to really make sure we're focused on what you're saying, we hear you, and we can address your concerns or questions, whatever you have. If you are a flex teacher, or if you're new, make sure that you go in, you dive right in, get your hands dirty, ask, how can I help? You walk right in that room, say, okay, where do you need me? Okay, how can I help? Standing there like a lump on a log is not what we're looking for. Nope. We don't babysit. We're not in that business. We are educators. So you're going to dive in and you're going to engage with children. The littlest thing, just building with blocks, counting the blocks, discussing the colors, the patterns, whatever the age group developmentally appropriate would be in that group, in that classroom, get in it, learn and listen from the teachers who are around you. And that way you can get immersed and understand what's expected. Some of our new teachers are coming in with just a high school education. They have not gone through the college education yet, which we encourage everyone to do, go through Teach, and we sponsor that. You get a whole scholarship program. Oh, Jen says Nevaeh does that so gracefully. So many of our flex teachers do this. Thank you. It's so helpful. Thank you, Miss Jen, for acknowledging that. But yeah, just dive in. And there's some of you who do it and it's a habit. You come into the room and you know exactly where you should go, but you only know that if you've developed that skill and that relationship with that classroom. If you're brand new, you got to ask questions, right? They have to give you guidance. So take the guidance, grow with the guidance, and you'll notice that every classroom operates so differently. Their procedures are different. The teacher's way about engaging with children are so different. There's no wrong way, but then you're getting all these tools, you're getting all this insight, and you can use it. You can then use it to build your tool belt and make sure that you have those tools to really ensure these children are engaged and flourishing. We don't want children idle. We don't want teachers idle. We're running a school. So I want you to keep that in mind. If you ever need guidance, you need support, come to us. We will give you those tools. There's so many cool videos out there that just show you what it looks like. And sometimes that's all we need. Great attendance in May. Look at this long list. Oh, I'm so proud. Look at this. So this means there was no call out, there was no late arrival, and there was no early leaving from these staff members in the month of May, unless it was approved. So if it's approved, then you're good to go, right? I know sometimes it's unavoidable. We get sick. Sometimes you have something that's an appointment and you couldn't rearrange it and we couldn't approve it because there's too many people out at that day. And that happens because we do have a limit of how many we can approve. So even though it wasn't approved, you were out, I knew you had to be out, it just, you don't earn the PTO. And those people earn half day and it's to use at their discretion as long as it's 2 weeks in advance. They can go use it. And some of you have so many days. I think I heard someone has like 16 days because they just don't use their days. And they could go far, far away and then come back if they felt like it. All right. Reminders, lesson plans. Make sure they are signed off by administrator before Friday afternoon so that you can post it up on your wall or you can keep it in your mailbox so that if you happen to be sick on Monday morning, we're not stressing, you're not stressing, that lesson plan is posted and it is clear to your sub what's expected. So please don't just write the name of a book. What is the purpose of reading that book? What's the intention? So if you're reading a book because you're identifying rhyming words, great. If you're reading a book because you're identifying different colors or discussing something else, a different aspect, like some people are learning sea creatures. So you want to really make sure that it's explicit. So whoever substitutes for you, they know what's expected, and you don't really have to do too much extra thinking because it's there on your lesson plan. And someone said, yes, my kids love Adrian. Not sure if she's yes, they are a flex for now. And Adrian has also been working in classrooms. So fantastic. Miss Pam, I'm sorry, you were missed. So Miss Pam is probably on that list. And I will make sure that she's on Joyce's list for the earned PTO. Menus and schedules. Your menus should be in your mailboxes. Miss Stephanie's very regimented. She makes sure they're in your mailbox and ready to go to be posted Friday evening so that they're ready Monday morning. Some parents love to get a picture of the menu so they know what to tell their kid. Oh, look, for breakfast, you're going to have this. Oh, Miss Pam is cooking this up for lunch. And they get pumped because sometimes chicken nugget day is like the highlight of everyone's day. And then it is. So that in itself is great. But then we have those allergy children where their parents can plan what they can and can't eat for then their child if they have questions about what's being served on the menu. So if you just snap a picture and send it to all your families, I know it's greatly appreciated. Your schedule should have only changed for the season. So if you chose to change your schedule for the summer, That means it's the same schedule all summer. Some classrooms have chose to alternate their outdoor time. So one class will take the 9 a.m. slot and then the other class will take the 10 a.m. slot. And they do that because unfortunately in North Carolina, we get heat advisories and we cannot go out if we're in the red. And sometimes the red happens right about that 10 a.m. time slot. So if you are a classroom that was kind enough to switch back and forth with the other classroom of your age group, so say 1 week you're all 9 a.m., then the next week you're going to be 10 a.m. At least there's an opportunity for those other classrooms to get out at the right time to play outside, because we all know what it's like when kids are cooped up all morning long and then they're trying to get down and rest, right? We do all the yoga we can, we play all the relaxing music we can, but if they didn't run it out, we're in trouble. There are some classrooms who choose to do a half hour and a half hour each. So you'll have one class do 9 to 9:30, and then you'll have another class do 9:30 to 10. And that way, before that heat advisory time typically comes at 10 o'clock, they've been outside at least for a half hour. Now, here's a little trick. The big school age playground, that can hold 45, I think, children, 45, 48 children. So as long as you're in two separate groups, you may go on that playground together. Now, that's like chaos. So we're only doing it when absolutely necessary. Sometimes water play. If we're doing the foam party, we're going to have a big group out there. All the school leaders are going outside. But I just need to be mindful, because more kids equals more opportunity for destruction and disaster. So I want you to make sure that it is a time when you guys are stationed outside. You're Hawkeye and all these kids. You're making sure everyone is safe. You are playing with them, which is the best form of supervision. And we just want to make sure everyone's safe, because it's very easy to get hurt when it's crowded, right? Whiteboards are updated. You've been doing a fantastic job with that. Some of you have your outdoor whiteboard and it's updated. So at least you can tell Miss Pam how many for lunch if you've already gone outside for 9 a.m. playtime. Make sure your mailboxes are empty every day. Some people need to do that because they're full. They're full. You need to be able to empty them so I can give you special treats. Okay? Charge tablets and walkie-talkies each evening. If you are closing a room, just scan the room. Make sure those walkies are put in and make sure that the tablets are plugged in. If you see they're missing walkies, please make sure you come to the office, grab one, and then you can at least put one in the room for the next morning, so they're not trying to message everyone saying, our walkie died, I need a bathroom break, and then they might pee their pants because they didn't have a walkie. So we want to make sure that the walkies are in there and they're plugged in and they're charging. You know they're charging because the lights are red. All right. We have a nap time checklist. If you're not familiar with the nap time checklist, I'd be happy to share that with you. It should be posted in every classroom. It's just a standard checklist of things you can do to be productive during rest time. Now, sometimes we can't even go away from a specific child at rest time, right? Because they just needed our full attention, unfortunately. But then there's other days when things work out so nicely and you have an hour, you have 20 minutes, and you can do something from that checklist. So your classrooms will thank you if you address the nap time checklist and do 1-2 things a week. And then by the end of the month, your classroom is sparkling and it is organized, and you'll be thankful for it too, because if our classrooms work for us, we do less work. Purses and phones should be locked away. I do not want to see anyone on their phone throughout the day doing some text messaging or social media scrolling. Absolutely not. We can't. Supervision is at risk if you do that. So to keep your hands all safe and your eyes safe looking at supervising children, put your phones in the closet. Because even if their phone's on a shelf, you're so inclined to grab it and check, right? You're just inclined to do that. Please make sure your phones are locked away. Your tablets should give you everything you need to communicate with parents, and you can even add your classroom to the Facebook message group. Now, obviously, when you're on your break, when you have rest time, those are great times to check your phone and to do what you need to do personally. But I urge you to put it in the closet and lock it away, or put it in your cubby. I know some of you do, and that's a great idea. Put it in your mailbox, and that way you're just not tempted. Because once you're tempted and you do it and an incident happens when you were supposed to be supervising, I can't save you. I cannot help you, because on that video, we're going to see you on a phone, even if it was just for a couple seconds, and the child, something happened. Okay, Supply list should be turned in each Wednesday. Make sure you do that. Miss Brittany fulfilled and Miss Amy helped too them today. Your Father's Day gifts should all be ready to go. If you are missing a material for your Father's Day gift, please let me know. I think every classroom's handled. Miss Amy did go around and double check. We had some extra materials from other orders, so you may makeshift a Father's Day gift from those and it'll be wonderful. Super duper. All right. Reimbursements. Don't go on a shopping spree unless I say, hey, yes, I will reimburse you for this purchase, because if I don't say yes, you might be out some cash. So make sure we approve it and then you're good to go. Sometimes I have these things already, or sometimes your request for the reimbursement is too much and I can't budget for it that month. Okay. Students in distress. This is very important. Please refrain from restraining, grabbing, holding children who are resisting. Now, it's a little different when we're working with a toddler who so nicely can be held and coddled, right, when they're in distress, versus a 3-year-old and up, because they'll start kicking, punching, hitting, headbutting, biting when you try to pick them up or address them physically. So I need you to read the room. If a child does not want your physical contact, do not do it. Do not grab them. Don't pick them up because you think it's going to make them feel better. Only if they want that hug. Feel free to ask, would you like a hug? Some of them, that's all they need. They just needed that human contact. But some of them don't want you to touch them. So I need you to read the room. I need you to be able to tell, and you'll get to know your students and what works and what doesn't work for them. But just diving into a touch or a hold or something, I need you to take a second and look at what's happening, okay? Or if they're in emotional distress, they're screaming, they're kicking, they're flailing, you're not going to approach that child and get in the line of combat, right? We're going to keep ourselves away. You want to make sure you keep these students away. That's when you call for admin if you need that assistance to be able to separate the other children from the child who's in distress, right? We want to make sure that they have that opportunity to come down and regulate, whether we co-regulate with them and we help them, or they go over to cozy or a different spot, or maybe they just stay in that one spot and they de-escalate themselves. But there's so many different tools and strategies that we've learned over the many years we've been working together that there's something that's going to work for that child, and we can help you achieve that. You just need to request for admin support. So just keep everybody safe. Call for admin on the walkie when there's a child in big distress, right? Now, if they're whining and stomping their feet, then, they'll get over it. But if they're laying on the ground and they're flailing or they're seeking other children out or they're throwing crazy things in the room and destroying all the bins, that's when you're going to call for us, because we're here to help and we're going to intervene, right? So we can take over, or you can keep working on building that relationship with the child. Then we can take the other children out of the space. Maybe we'll go outside, or maybe you need a break, right? They've already pushed all your buttons and you need a minute. So you're going to take those kids outside and we'll work with that child in distress. You have to kind of tell us what you need. And I always go and I say, how can I help? Because I need to know what the help is you need from me. And then I can proceed. If your request is insane, then I'm going to say, no, I can't do that. But most of the time it's very reasonable, right? You need me to sit with the child because you are here and they're up here and you're going to take the other kids outside. So communication, you're going to communicate with us what you need, and we get right in and we dive in and we try to help you out. The incident will be documented. Usually you guys document with a non-injury or that ABC chart, but in these instances when we have to intervene, we usually are in communication with the parents as well, because that means that it was not the norm, right? This shouldn't be a normal event and occasion. And further steps, we would most likely meet with the parents if this is an ongoing issue. If they had a really bad day and this is totally out of character, we're probably just going to tell the parents, hey, maybe something's going on and they don't feel well, and we're going to try to better tomorrow and we have a clean slate tomorrow, and then we go forward and it doesn't happen again. Or maybe it's a repeat incident, right? And we want to make sure that we address it, we document it, and the parents are aware. It's the worst thing when you don't tell parents and then they come to us when we meet with them and they say, I was never told. I didn't know about that. I got nothing. If it's not documented, I can't help you. I can't back you up. So please make sure it's written down, documented, messages, ABC charts, non-injury reports, whatever. You want suggestions, we'll give them to you. But just talking to them at pickup and drop off and mentioning it, I can't prove that. I can't say, yes, look at all these documented events, and this is what happened, and we didn't identify a trigger, and we called you in for a conference, and we wanted to work with you. We asked for these support services, and they weren't addressed, and they weren't signed up for, and then we can go from there. Excuse me. But if I don't have documentation, I cannot help. That's where we start, document, right? And then I can back you up. All right, dress code. We're in summertime. 5-inch shorts or fingertips touch the bottom. We're not wearing shorts. Nope. Make sure they're 5 inches or your fingertips, because some of us have longer hands, right? So that would be crazy. But those 2 rules of thumb for your shorts, please. And if you're wearing sports as well. Leggings, totally acceptable. Love leggings, but please make sure your goods are covered. Okay? Just make sure you're well covered. Maybe the shirt's a little long so that it covers those areas. You know what I mean? If you can bend, lean over, and play comfortably, you are good to go. Make sure nothing falls out of there, okay? Tank tops must have a 1/2 inch with the shoulders or something covering the strap. Please no spaghetti straps or bra strap looking tank tops. Grooming. Please don't roll out of bed and come to work. Please brush your teeth, right? Brush your teeth, put your hair up. We just want to look like professionals. And then we are respected and treated as professionals. If we roll in and we look like we're wearing our pajamas, right? No one's going to treat us with, it's dressing for the role. You're dressing as an early childhood educator. I'm not asking you to wear suits or dresses, but I'm asking you to put yourself together and come to work. Because unfortunately, in the world we are, appearances do mean what kind of level of respect you're going to get initially. If you're rolling in and you got cut up shirts and you got cut up jeans or something crazy going on, the parents are not going to have as much respect as if you came put together with a clean t-shirt with no holes and something else on your bottom that doesn't scream like, the draft will expose something. So we don't want any of that. The scents. It is a rule in North Carolina that we cannot have strong scents. I know some of us love our perfumes, our deodorants are very strongly scented, but that can cause a reaction. I've actually heard stories about children going into anaphylactic shock because of strong scents, and it could be any. We had a teacher who worked with us, and she went into anaphylactic shock because of some lavender scent that was in the classroom, and I had to EpiPen her twice. So I need you to make sure that the scents are mild and that you're coming to work so that we're not going to create some kind of asthma attack or something else. So if you have questions about scents, you want me to smell you, I will smell you and I'll let you know if you're good to go or not. But just be mindful. All right. Bathing is strongly recommended also, just so you know. Okay. All right, end of the day. Closing rooms. You're all very good with it. Miss Ruby, Miss Joyce, whoever else is working around closing time, excuse me, trains very well. So you should be well aware of what's expected. And then we want to make sure that all diaper changes are taken care of by the lead teacher and the co-teacher by the time the last one of those 2 leave, so that the flex teachers that take over, those who take over, they're going to be responsible for any poopies, any emergency diaper changes, and if they have to do something before that 2-hour mark comes. But they're not responsible for going down that entire list before you leave. Please make sure that the co-teacher and the lead teachers are taking care of those responsibilities, or at least ensuring that they're done. Because in the end, you guys are going to be held responsible if there's something that happened prior to that, right? So we want to make sure that you guys double check, everybody's good. And I know those noses, they get real snotty and gross, even right after wiping them. But when a child's about to go home, please check their face. And just offer, hey, they were going to be changed a little bit. Can I just check them for you? That goes a long way. Even the parents can be like, no, that's okay. But in their head, oh, that was very considerate of them. They were going to be next, so they were going to be changed anyway. And just saying that, make sure that even if they're a little wet or very wet, I hope not very wet, but some of them like to just pee a lot at once. I don't know. You're addressing it, right? You're showing the parent that you're attentive right before that child leaves. Even if they were just changed about an hour ago or half hour ago, you want to double check them. And it goes a long way. Clean faces go a long way. If they have breakfast gunk on their face still, That doesn't say no, we're not good. That's not good at all. We want to make sure everybody's clean. Get those wipes. If you don't have wipes in your backpack for outdoor, please make sure you get wipes in your backpack. Send children as clean and dry as can be, and it really means a lot. It shows that you are caring for their child and that it's not just the end of the day and they're all right. All right, they're just going to have tons of snot and dirt and gunk and everything and wet full diapers. We don't want that. We want to make sure their kids are taken care of. And they do. They imagine, first of all, if their kid's crying when they drop off and their kid is crying when they pick up, they think their kid's crying all day long, even though they may have had a fantastic day. So though they may become upset, especially the younger ones, towards the end of the day, they see everybody else going home. Please make sure that you are at least acknowledging them, right? If little Adam is upset and he just won't stop crying, give him the little bit of time. Go, okay, Adam, I know, do you want to come do this? Just talking to them. You don't have to hold them. I don't expect you to cuddle and coddle children for the end of the day. We don't want you to do that in the end, but just to console them, acknowledge them. You see them, you hear them. Mommy will be here soon. That in itself means a lot because at least you're acknowledging the child, even if they're just going to keep crying, because they're not going to stop until mommy or daddy come, right? But you're acknowledging the child, you're recognizing their distress, and then you're offering something to distract them with, right? A redirection. Supervision. Just make sure you stay in your classrooms, okay? I've been noticing some friends, some ladies, teachers hanging out the classroom doors. We don't do that. If you feel like you might hang out your classroom door, shut the door so you don't have that temptation. If you need to speak to another classroom, that also takes you out of supervision. And I know you're trying to not bother admin with this, but if it's something that you need from another classroom, you can radio it or you can call for admin to assist because I've noticed it too much where we're calling out to the other classrooms or, hey, open your door, or you kind of reach out and you can reach the other door and open it and talk to them, then you're out of ratio. So I want to make sure that everyone understands that if you need something from another room, we will happily help. I'd rather that stay in ratio, supervise your students, work with your students, than hanging out the classroom door. Because one quick question might turn into a full-blown conversation, and that means your back is turned to your entire class and you're not focused on them. Okay, so bathroom breaks, please be considerate of the time. Many of you, wonderful, love it. I mean, your bathroom time's your bathroom time. Sometimes when we gotta go, we gotta go. Sometimes some of us have tummy issues. I'm not talking about those times. What I'm talking about is the side missions that tend to happen. You may think, oh, it's only like 30 seconds to a minute, but then it turns out to be a little bit longer every time for your bathroom break. And that's why we had that sign up board outside the office door, or you message us and we will then be able to give you our undivided attention. But you go to the bathroom, then you might want to make a few copies, then you got to go to your car to get something, then you got to ask me something, and then that turns into like a 7-minute bathroom break when we could have tackled a whole bunch, right? And we want to make sure that everyone's time is valuable and that it's meaningful. We use our time with effectiveness because when we're effective, it's great. Everything goes very well. So just be mindful. So incident biting reports, non-injury reports, and ABC charts, if you're new and you haven't seen them yet, they are all legal documents. So we do have to use black ink. And you're going to have a teacher tomorrow, this is your homework, ask someone to show you how to write an incident report when an incident happens, or a non-injury when a non-injury happens, or what are they doing with this ABC chart? What is it for? So when you see it in action, you're going to learn more about it than if someone's just trying to teach you without a true incident at hand. And there's going to be more questions, there's going to be more learning opportunities, but making sure that you watch someone do it or even they guide you in writing it, which you'll probably remember more so than if you're watching somebody. So this is an example on the left. You can see here, this is our incident report. That's when someone gets hurt. And then on the right, you got the non-injury report, and that's when someone does something that harmed another. It's a behavioral report. So it's something for the parents to see. Like Adam today chose to throw books and hit a friend or many friends. So he would have had a non-injury explaining that event, what was the antecedent, what came before, and then the consequence. What did you do after to support that child, address the issue, and then teach him what to do next time. So that's all what that is. Consequence doesn't mean that we punish the child. Consequence is what happened after. How did you help them? Did you give them solutions for next time? What happened? Okay, so now we're going to go into our self-studies. Everybody should have a self-study packet if you are a classroom teacher. I want even our flex teachers to do a self-study, but yours is not going to be as monitored as our classroom teachers. However, I would like to still have them. So you may not have as much experience and guidance as the classroom teachers because they need to use theirs when we have our assessment in September. So theirs is going to count. Yours, if you're a flex teacher, is going to help you grow as an educator. So it's still important, but it's not going to be looked at by the assessors. So we want obviously 5 stars. So to get 5 stars, if you look at that right side there, enhanced ratio required, enhanced space optional. So we have enhanced ratios, voluntary enhanced ratios at our school. 50% of all lead teachers and 50% other educators meet the 5-star education standards. And that's a whole big document that tells us who qualifies. And Miss Ruby, she's in charge of that because I don't know half of it. And we want to make sure that our 5 stars comes to fruition. So that's why we are making sure that the classrooms have 50% lead teachers are at that 5-star education level. CQI plan for facility, I do that, and approved curriculum. We're not doing that part. What we're doing is the self-study process. So that's why we chose that. And I'll show you what that is if you haven't seen it yet. So this on the left is thinking more about activities for the ITERS crew. So if infants to end of 2-year-olds, those are our ITERS. And they have a packet of either activities focusing on or literacy, language and literacy, I think it is. And for ECHRs, if your age is 3 and up to the 5-year-old range, you're going to have the 2 choices as well. Now, I have a link there for you so you can read more about it. You can watch the videos I showed last month if you forgot about them or you don't feel like going back to the YouTube video for our staff meeting. There it is. It also has a ton of resources and the worksheets and packets. So everything's at that link right there on the right side. These are samples of what it looks like when you look at your self-study. So we have the ECHRs thinking more about activities. You can tell ECHRs is yellow and ITERS is blue. And that one is thinking more about activities. Then in the middle, that's the outreach. So if you got chosen and were assessed by the outreach program, so those assessors came, they looked real formal, but it was just a mock assessment. And some people really benefited from that mock assessment. I'm so happy we did it because you were able to experience an assessment without the pressures of it, right? So it was just to help support and guide you. You got the assessment results and you're going to use those for your self-study. So you guys are in your own group where everyone else who wasn't assessed by the outreach chooses between activities and literacy and language. Okay, so there's 2 other choices there. So getting started, you got to think about what your goals are. And the guidance of that self-study get you there. There's questions specific to guide you to understand what's going to be my goal in this self-study relating to activities and what's going to be my goal relating to literacy and language. So once you get to that packet, which I encourage you to start, which you should have already started, and look at it, think about answering those questions, get through the packet as much as you can, and then come to us for guidance once you get to a point where you say, I don't really know what to do next. That's where we step in. I want you to make sure that your self-study is thoughtful. So we're not just going to be chicken scratching things down. We're really going to think about it, okay? Because it's going to be collected by the assessors when they come. So what do you need? We need time. We're really supposed to do it for 3 months. Okay, we're doing it for 3 months. We started in May and we're going to be ending August. And then we're going to be assessed in early September. So I need to make sure that everyone is aware of the time frame. Okay, so your self-study is that packet, but then you also have to reflect on a different sheet. So we can't just do that packet for 3 months. I expect the packet to be done relatively soon, maybe in a 2-3 weeks, filling up as much as you can. And then we step in and guide you with the rest. And then we help you get your goal set up, you work towards your goal, and then we do the reflection sheet sometime in August. Okay. All right. So I want to talk about process art very briefly because I do notice that some classrooms are doing worksheets or things that are not quite process art. There are no samples to process art. There is really no guidance in the steps. You are providing the children with materials, and you can talk about a collaborative goal or a mission of what they should complete in their art, or they just start creating and then they tell you what they've created. And then you do that notation on their artwork so that whoever's looking at it knows, oh, this is a starfish and a fish in the ocean, and the sharks come in to eat the fish, and that's what they created, even though it looks like a bunch of blue blobs, right? So their process art, giving them access to materials and then letting them go can sometimes be a little like A-type personalities might have trouble with that. But I need you to let go, let live, and let them go for it, because you're going to be amazed at what they produce and what you can put on your walls. 3D art is fantastic. All you need are paper towel rolls, cut them in half, and everyone's got the start to their statue. And then they start adding different things, pipe cleaners, construction paper, and you're providing the materials, the glue, and they go for it. And you'll be amazed at what they can create. So you can limit the materials. For our younger friends, maybe provide them with 2 materials and then ask them to create whatever comes to mind. If you want to give them an idea, like your topic area of the ocean, create your creature that lives in the ocean, and then they go for it and use the materials you provided, but without your true like hands-on guidance. That's process art. It may take many days too. Process art does not have to just happen in, 1 hour time frame. You can build upon it. And then you can talk about that in your little blurb next to what they created when you're displaying all your artwork. Water days. The splash pads are coming, like I said. Please don't allow wet bodies on the playground structure, because that's just looking for a crazy incident to happen. So if your kids have played water day, they cannot go on the playground structures wet. They must be dried. Like you check them, they're dry. Then they can go play. Or you just put it off limits the whole time there's water play, and then they can go back on it tomorrow. But making sure that your students are safe and you are keeping that eye out of what's going on. They don't have to have water shoes. They can be barefoot on our playgrounds when they're doing water play. Please make sure that you have enough plastic grocery bags, or the students bring their own labeled bags for the wet items, and you're laying them out in the hallway. You probably saw them the past couple days. You got masking tape, label the kid's name, leave out in the hallway. If they stay there for more than a few days, I'm throwing them in the washer, and then we're going to see when the parent comes to pick it up. But I don't want stinky, mildewy clothes left in the hallway. So we're going to make sure that they're cleaned up, they're taken home. You can even remind the parents. And hopefully we are successful in our water day plays. Tomorrow is the flamingo foam party on the school age playground. He's going to set up starting at 9:15ish, and I need everyone to make sure that they understand if they're not school age teachers, their children are playing on the other side tomorrow. So if you have questions about how to go about doing that, what if there's more than one class, we'd be happy to guide you and think of some problem solving. But it's just tomorrow. It's just their kickoff to summer, and then we're back to normal schedules. And we're closed Friday, so they would have had it Friday. I apologize, but we had to make do with Thursday. Donuts with Dad, like I said, is Monday. Please make sure you message me the time that you are going to start Donuts with Dad, so that we can ensure we guide the father figures to where they need to go, appropriate spaces. Or we can say, oh, if they haven't started yet, just wait and come back at this time, and then we can help them out. And you can get your donuts on time. Our summer program has kicked off, and they have so many things planned for this summer. I have also other suggestions on this page for them if they choose to, so they can take a look at it later on. Tone and phrasing. I hear a lot of and no sir. And sometimes it's just habits. They're going to die hard. So I need you to make sure you are diligent and you are aware of what you're saying and how you're saying it. Your tone can mean so many different ways, of that you're angry, you're upset. You could be singing their name instead. You can address them by using a even tone, right? Instead of that raised, stern, angry voice. We want to make sure we state what the expectation is. So we walk in the classroom, or you can walk or you can march. I mean what I say. I'm going to hold them accountable to what I'm expecting, but I'm not yelling at them, right? And I can't be going across the classroom because they will not hear me. They will not even look at me. They're going to be busy doing what they're doing. So I have to go up, maybe a gentle contact of the shoulder. I'm touching their shoulder. Adam, we have to clean up. You can do blocks or you can clean up the cars. Give him the two positive choices. And if he has any refusal, repeat the expectation. Adam, you can clean up blocks or you can clean up cars. Which one would you like to do? Hopefully he chooses one of your positive choices. If he doesn't, you do it again. And you just keep, I mean, some kids are real stubborn, so you're going to have to wait them out. But you're going to keep repeating that expectation. You can also offer to clean up one thing and then they clean up the other thing, or another friend, but making sure that you hold them accountable. You state something's expected, don't you falter. You're going to follow through, because once you cave, that's it. They win. They know they can win. So you have to make sure you follow through. You say what you mean what you say, and you follow through. Okay? So don't give empty threats. We never do that. We can't say, if you don't clean up, then you can't have lunch today, like that. No, we have to feed children. If you don't clean up, then you can't go outside for the rest of the day. Nope, can't take that away either. They can clean up and then they get to go outside. That's a reasonable consequence. We cannot go outside until blocks are clean. That's reasonable. And then if you need admin to come in because you're going to supervise these friends who refuse to clean until now everybody's outside, they're going to want to clean because they're going to want to go outside. Or the next fun thing is going to happen. But that enticement, that initiation of what to do next, sometimes they have to witness everybody going to the next fun thing to trigger the, oh yeah, I should probably do this so I can join them. And then you need one of us or yourself to stay with that crew so they can follow through, because you're holding them accountable, right? We want to make sure that we follow through. So this is a video about problem solving in the moment, and I was going back and forth about which one I want to show you, but I think I want to show you the next one. So this one is redirecting behavior. I did show it last year, so some of you may see it. It might be familiar to you, but I think it's such a valuable video because it gives you options of what to do when a child is about to be in distress, right? And that's because you've been supervising. You've been watching them like a hawk, right? You're watching them. You know what's going on. You're engaging with them. But all of a sudden, Adam snatches that toy out of a kid's hand, right? And that kid's Mikey. And Mikey's about to go off. But you can tell because you're right there. So these are methods for you to interject, intervene, and make sure that you are supporting these children, because once you intervene, then you can teach the skill they should have had instead of starting to get ready to hit, kick, whatever, scream, cry, right? So we're teaching the skill, but it's so important that you are in it. You're engaged, so you're watching them and you're just engaged. That's so important. All right, here we go. Here's the video, and then we're going to talk about it.
Hello, and welcome to this short module on redirecting behavior. Redirecting behavior is a proactive method for dealing with challenging behavior. It maximizes a child's engagement in learning by giving the child alternatives to a behavior that teachers consider problematic. Redirecting behavior is one in a series of in-service suite on behavior guidance. This is the house framework. The National Center, let's see what redirecting behavior looks like and learn different ways to use this method in preschool classrooms. Redirecting behavior helps to increase a child's engagement in learning by preventing problem behavior in the first place and by avoiding the escalation of problematic or challenging behavior. That means teachers use redirecting before the behavior gets out of hand. Redirecting behavior consists of simple instructions and simple cues that teachers can easily embed into the ongoing activities and routines of the day. Teachers can use redirecting behavior along with classroom rules and clear expectations to help maintain a well-organized and productive learning environment. Let's look at 4 types of redirecting. Teachers can redirect verbally, physically, with a cue, or by redirecting the child's attention. Regardless of the type of redirection, it is used when the teacher notices that the child's attention is flagging, or the teacher notices that the child is on the verge of losing control or showing frustration in a way that teachers consider problematic. Redirection happens before the problem behavior. Verbal. The teacher gives a simple instruction that distracts the child from the challenging behavior and guides the child to a more appropriate behavior. The teacher might say, "Let's see if we can find another shiny car," or "I need a helper with these carpet squares. Can you help me?"
Let's spray down our window, my friend. Oh man, our window's looking great. Nice and clean.
Physical. The teacher gives a simple instruction and uses a gentle touch to prevent the child's challenging behavior. The gentle touch interrupts the child's behavior, and in that pause, the teacher guides the child to a more appropriate behavior.
And you look up, let's wait until she answers our question. Ask her again. Can he see? Oh, thank you. That was very nice of you.
With a cue, the teacher pairs a visual cue, like a picture or a gesture, with the instruction to prevent the child's challenging behavior and guide the child to an alternative.
Here, go like this, and he'll come land. Watch this. Land on the finger. Thank you.
Sometimes a teacher can predict difficult situations, and so she has pictures already prepared. With attention. The fourth type of redirecting involves another child who is nearby and who is playing or talking appropriately. The teacher draws the attention of the child on the verge of a challenging behavior to the child who is engaged. This type of redirecting is sometimes called proximal attention.
So let's see who is ready to help us today. Oh, I see he's sitting really nice and quiet. He's trying his best. So I see him start with the letter D. Who is D? Thank you so much.
Redirecting behavior is a positive and proactive method for dealing with challenging behavior. It can be a way to prevent the behavior or interrupt the behavior before it escalates. By guiding the child to an alternative and more appropriate behavior, the teacher is also helping the child gain some self-control. In this module, we looked at 4 ways to use redirection: verbally, physically, with a cue, or with proximal attention. Learn more about this method of behavioral guidance in our longer in-service suite.
Okay, so the website's there. That way, when you watch this video, you can pause it and you can go to that website. They have so many awesome short videos that just pile in tons of information. They compact it for you because our time is very precious to us, right? And we want to make sure that we get these skills and we can use them right away. So this video gave you verbal, right? Verbal ways to redirect, physical ways where you gentle touch or you come up to them and then you can talk to them that way. With a cue, you can do cue cards. You could do a singing cue, something that kind of snaps them out of it, or proximal attention when we were calling out a child who was following what the expectation was. And then everyone loves to just, oh, I'm sitting nice too. What about me? What about me, Miss Shannon? And then you have most of their attention, right? There's a couple stragglers who don't, but for the most part. So that video there, and then the one prior to it, I would love for you to watch on your own. I just know that I don't want to take you over too much on the time we have together. So making sure we don't turn our back to our students. Sometimes you have to get very creative, especially if you're helping to wash hands. You're like, turn your body so you can watch the rest of the group. If you're helping a child, make sure their back is to the crew and then you are facing everybody else. If you're doing circle time, you're in a corner that faces the rest of the classroom when you're doing circle time. That way you have eyes everywhere. If you have shelving that interrupts your line of sight, either move from that spot or make sure your co-teacher is on the other side and they can see that spot. So you guys are working as a team. You know, sometimes your flow is so good that you're actually going through the motions and you've already done it as a team. You don't even realize it. But check yourselves. Can you see, or your co-teachers see, every portion of the classroom so that you can address those issues before they become big issues? We want to kind of get it right before something happens. Oh, Mikey, how can we make sure we use our words instead of trying to take the toy? Can you practice with me? And then we go through it, right? You're not gonna be able to dive across the room as easily, but you can definitely sing their name, grab their attention in that moment, and then approach and help solve the problem. We just can't scream, yell, be too stern, right? We want to make sure that we're grabbing attention without being scary. Okay. I already talked about this. Sorry, I have the same slide twice. So your closing checklist, everyone's familiar with this. They are in every classroom. I ask closers to please make sure you're initialing the things that you have done so that we know who was responsible, and then we can say how wonderful that classroom looks at the end of the day. When the openers are coming in the next morning, they know who took the time to close that classroom. Thinking about the future. So if you're interested in changing it up coming August, because that's the start of our new school year, new classroom, new position, new school, because we have 3 different buildings, welcome to message us and let us know. I also have the staff survey link right there. We have 11 responses, which is fantastic, but more of you, if you responded already, but you have some more things you'd like to add to the survey, click it, answer it. It shouldn't take you very long. Only if you want to elaborate does it really take you a little bit longer than most, but it should take you a maximum of 3 to 5 minutes if you choose to write some responses. I just want to make sure that you are heard. I don't want someone to say, well, I didn't say it, I didn't bring it up to you, and then the problem got to be up here and then it exploded. So we don't want that. We want you to feel like you can communicate with us. This survey is anonymous unless you write your name. So you can be as blunt and honest as you want to be, because that's what we need. We need honesty. So there's classes here from Cox Campus. These are all free. I love Cox Campus because they show you what a classroom environment looks like, and then you get to reflect and analyze and really go through the courses they offer, and you get contact hours. So bonus all around. Resources for 2 and 3-year-old teachers. I do pay for the Twinkle subscription, so you are welcome to use all Twinkle resources. They have great social emotional skill strategies and lessons. They have, now we don't like to do worksheets, but they have templates you can put into those plastic sleeves in your classroom and throw them into center time. Themed activities, activities that are great for our young students, just using them to even trace with a dry erase marker to practice their fine motor skills. Simple things, putting little, oh my gosh, pom-pom dots with the tweezer, and you're putting them on the black lines of an image or of something else. So you can use them in that way. And the plastic sleeves we have are great because then you can keep using the same worksheet, but in a center method. More resources, like I said, Twinkle, we use conscious discipline, teaching strategies, and the pyramid model. If you haven't checked out the pyramid model, I really encourage you to, because many of our students work very well with those strategies that come from the pyramid model. You may have a child who just needs the basics, like that guidance of Tucker Turtle, the stories that come with it. Every classroom should have a turtle puppet. If you can't find yours, let me know. But I gave every classroom a turtle puppet from ages 2 and up, and you're able to use the puppet, read the stories, and then the students teach Tucker the turtle what to do to help problem solve. And it could be different emotions that Tucker Turtle is going through. Maybe someone's real mom or dad is going to be deployed and they need that guidance and that support. Well, Tucker Turtle, his mommy or daddy's going to be deployed. What do you tell him to do after reading the social stories? What can you do to support him as a friend? And then they're transferring that new knowledge to the classmate. So that interaction with the puppet, though it may seem silly to us, it really engages them and it gets them learning and teaching about their learning. Because if you can teach about your learning, you're at mastery, right? So we want to get them there. So we had Chantel, I miss Chantel, but she used to give us tons of resources. These are 3 lovely links for you to use. They have tons of resources. She worked for Martin Pitt, so it's a lot of social emotional curriculum, a lot of support, a lot of free resources, printables you can use for your classroom, things you can put in Cozy Center that will help your regulation and teaching your students. So check them out if you have time. If you'd like to during active rest time, it's a great time to look at these. And even more links from her. And then there's Tucker's Nest. If you see that first link, it has everything to do with Tucker Turtle. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, Tucker Turtle, go to that link that Chantel provided us with and then kind of learn about the social stories. We have them printed already, so you do not have to make these books for yourself. You just borrow them from the office and then you use them and then you bring them back. So we can go and share share the resources with everybody else. Miss Ruby will hunt you down, but your trainings need to get done. So make sure that you either use these live links or that wonderful PowerPoint she put together that guides you through all the health and safety trainings. So you have no reason not to do your trainings because you can't work if you've surpassed the time frame. Keep that in mind. I don't want that to happen to anybody. And then we have open door policy. Please stop by anytime or message someone in administration so we can help. If we don't know there's a problem, we can't help you find a solution. That's what Joyce always says, and it's very true. We don't know what we don't know. Okay, don't hold on to it and then it grow and fester and just become terrible. Everyone deserves to be happy and enjoy their work environment. So being a role model for our students, if we're grumpy pants, they're going to be able to tell. So as hard as it is, leave everything at the front door. Before you enter in the morning, take those breaths, get yourself ready, because this is going to be the place where you can distract yourself, right? With your students. You can have a wonderful day if you have that outlook of a wonderful day. Engaging them, playing with them, smiling with them, or you can choose to be grumpy, right? So if you make that choice to be positive, it's going to happen. I promise. You make that choice, you make that effort, it's just going to become habitual and it's going to become part of your daily routine. Positivity and smiling are contagious, but so is negativity and gossip. So keep that gossip out of here. We don't want it. If anyone has questions, feel free to message me. Joyce or Ruby, did you have anything you wanted to share? You got to unmute if you're talking.
Shannon, I did.
Okay.
A couple of quick things. Number one, Heather was there yesterday. I was not there, and I know I wrote a blip on Facebook, but I wanted to personally tell everybody how proud I am of everybody. We got incredibly good reviews, which doesn't happen from licensing, period. And they had very positive things to say. And that's because of all of you and all the hard work that you put in. And people I left out when I actually wrote that, and a lot of people tend to leave out more often than not, is our admin staff, because they are very diligent with everything they do, entering information into the computer, answering all the calls, taking care of everything that needs to get done behind the scenes and up front. And they don't get acknowledged enough for it. So we thank you all, because we would not be what we are without every one of you. And it's not just licensing that has noticed. Almost every time somebody calls looking for a spot, they say, "We hear such wonderful things about you. You come so highly recommended." That's because all of you, they are hearing it. It is not going unnoticed. So I just wanted you all to know that.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you do.
I was just gonna piggyback off of that. I know that we've had some challenges during transition, especially towards the end of the year. We're facing PCS season, so we have a lot of our wonderful teachers that have been with us for a year or longer transitioning out. So we do have a lot of young ladies that are joining the team. I think that what I want to share is you guys have a strong foundation. A lot of you guys have been with us for quite a long time. And all I ask is that there is a little bit of grace and empathy with the new young ladies that are joining us. It took us a long time to find a groove. And even then we have our moments where, those transitions aren't as smooth as they need. So just making sure that we're modeling best practices, that we are showing kindness and patience while we are training our new staff. It sometimes comes with the misconception of oh, we should already be prepared for the job, but every center runs a little bit different. Every center has its own policies, even though we fall under the North Carolina Child Care rules and regulations. So we just want to make sure that we give them time to embrace how we run our facility. if there are concerns in or lapse in their training, please let me know since I am responsible for a lot of it. But when it comes to sharing those concerns, just allowing some grace for them to have that opportunity to learn the things that you guys have learned. And hopefully by the time that we get ready for assessments, we are much better prepared, even with our wonderful teachers that are transitioning out.
Very true. Yeah, and supporting them when they come in the room because just they're fresh, right? So we have to make sure we are guiding them and with that respectful guidance. Sometimes we're in such a rush in the classroom where everything's a sense of urgency, but keep in mind they are new. So they will have that same sense of urgency when they've been conditioned in the classroom a little bit. Being brand new, and you have to just be patient and guide them. I know sometimes it's a crazy day and you need to get this, and this, and this done, but they're there to support you. You're there to support them. And just like Miss Ruby said, provide some grace because they are learning, right? And we were all there once, especially me. Okay. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and we will see you all mañana. Bye-bye.